For nearly 60 years, a concrete ring stood on the edge of the nation's capital, Robert F. Kennedy Memorial Stadium. It rose above the Anacostia River like a crown of steel and stone. On game days, it shook as tens of thousands of fans cheered inside. It hosted football, baseball, World Cup matches, concerts, and political rallies. Then, in 2019, it closed. Now, in early 2026, it is almost gone.
A historic old RFK Stadium.
This old RFK Stadium.
RFK, it has been a reliable landmark on the D.C.
Right, and the city is now tearing RFK down.
The upper decks have been torn down. The bowl has been broken apart. What once filled the skyline along East Capitol Street is now open sky. But this is not just demolition. This is a reset. 180 acres in the heart of Washington, D.C. are being cleared for something new. And what comes next could reshape the city for decades. Please take a moment to subscribe and like the video. It really helps the channel. When RFK opened in 1961, it felt bold and modern. It had movable seating so it could host both football and baseball. That was rare at the time. It became home to Washington's football team for 35 years. Back then, the team was known as the Redskins. Over time, many people said the name was offensive. After years of pressure, the franchise changed its name and became the Washington Commanders. That history is part of this place. For some fans, RFK means loyalty and memories. For others, it represents a painful chapter. By the 1990s, the stadium was showing its age. The football team moved to Maryland in 1996. Other teams followed. The building slowly emptied.
RFK, we will miss you. It's now on to Ralph John. That is sports.
By 2019, it was no longer a city landmark. It was a shell. After it closed, the stadium sat empty for years. Surrounded by vast parking lots, it became a quiet gap in the city. Then, on January 6, 2025, control of the land shifted from the federal government to the District of Columbia. That changed everything. For decades, federal ownership limited what the city could do here. With local control, Washington could finally decide its own future for the site. The campus covers about 180 acres. In a tightly planned city like D.C., that much open land near the Capitol is extremely rare. The demolition did not just remove concrete, it unlocked land. At the center of the proposal is a new stadium for the Washington Commanders. The project is expected to cost about $3.7 billion. The team says it will invest at least $2.7 billion of its own money. The stadium would seat around 65,000 to 70,000 fans. It would be covered by a lightweight roof made from ETFE, a material used in many modern stadiums. It lets in sunlight but keeps out rain and heat. The building would be surrounded by columns, inspired by Washington's monuments. The height and roofline are shaped carefully to protect views of the U.S. Capitol and the Washington Monument. But the stadium would only use about 11% of the land. The rest of the site is where the real transformation could happen. 89% of the land would not be stadium. It would become a new neighborhood. The plan includes 5,000 to 6,000 homes. At least 30% are promised to be affordable. There would also be shops, offices, hotels, parks, and public streets. New roads would reconnect nearby communities like Hill East and Kingman Park. Green space would open new paths to the Anacostia River. For decades, parking lots created a wall between people and the river. The Anacostia has long struggled with pollution and neglect. In recent years, the city has worked to clean it and bring life back to its banks. This project promises to fully reconnect the city to that water. If done right, this would not just change the skyline. It would change how people move and live here. The biggest question is about money. The Commanders would pay for the stadium building itself. The district would contribute between $500 and $700 million for roads, utilities, transit upgrades, and preparing the land. Supporters say this is normal.
It took longer, but it was because we did the right thing.
Cities often invest in infrastructure that benefits the public long after construction ends. Critics disagree. They argue that without public spending, the private stadium would not be built. That means taxpayers are helping support a for-profit NFL team. Studies across the country have often shown that stadiums do not always deliver the economic boost cities expect. There are examples. In St. Louis, the city spent hundreds of millions of dollars in the 1990s to build the Edward Jones Dome. Leaders said it would protect jobs and keep the NFL team in town. 2 decades later, the team left anyway. The city was still paying off debt after the stadium lost its main tenant. In Cincinnati, public funding for a new NFL stadium in 2000 led to heavy debt payments for years. Supporters of the RFK plan say Washington's deal is different. But history makes some residents careful. Predictions sound promising. Reality does not always follow forecasts. The land around RFK is not empty. People live here. Some residents support the plan. They see new housing, new parks, and new business. A spokesperson for the Commanders said, "We are committed to building more than a stadium. We are investing in a new neighborhood for D.C." Others are more cautious. One longtime Hill East resident said, "We've heard big promises before. We'll believe the affordable housing when we see it." There are concerns about traffic, rising costs and years of construction. Some worry about being priced out of their own neighborhood. The project will succeed or fail based on trust as much as design. Bringing the football team back to the city is being called a homecoming. RFK was once known for its intense crowds and electric atmosphere. It was part of Washington's sports identity. But the franchise's past still shapes public opinion. The old team name caused deep controversy. The brand may have changed, but memory remains. This new stadium will test whether the team can truly reconnect with the city in a new era. Washington does not often get opportunities like this. 180 acres near the nation's core have been cleared. The concrete crown is gone. What rises next will shape this edge of the city for generations. It could become a lively, mixed-use district where people live, gather, and connect to the river. Or it could become another large venue that is busy on game nights and quiet the rest of the week. The demolition is almost complete. Now, the real decision begins. And what replaces RFK will show what kind of future Washington chooses.